Today's topic is money goals. The goal setting process for money goals is the same as it is for general business or marketing goals, for example. Your goals are what will allow you to move from your current situation, in this case in terms of money, to the one that you envisage for the future. A money goal is simply a plan that you make for your money, for your financial situation. There are two types of money goals, which are all sometimes also referred to as financial goals. They mean the same things. The first is in relation to business and personal goals, where there is a monetary amount involved. If there is, you can put a monetary amount to be associated with your goal. Then of course it should be incorporated within that goal, because it is going to make the goal a smart one. Smart, of course, standing for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic and timely. So by adding in money amounts to your goals, you are helping the goal become specific and measurable. It also helps put the goal into perspective and helps you ascertain if it is in fact achievable and realistic. Then the second type of money goals, which are pure money goals, are goals specifically concerning money and financial matters in general. Before setting your money goals, you should take some time to look at the bigger picture regarding your financial position and decide what is important to you. With regard to the big picture of your finances, start with thinking about your relationship with money. And you can do this using these journal prompts. First one is, are you in charge of your money, or is it in charge of you? So how do you feel about that? The second prompt is, when you consider your current financial situation, do you feel a little scared? Or is your current situation okay, but you are worried about the future? In financial terms, we're talking here. Now, there are no right or wrong answers, as we all feel about money in completely different ways. The key is to give yourself enough time to explore these prompts and get a clear, overarching view of how you currently feel about money. Then consider your current financial situation. I'm talking here about a general review. It's not about knowing your exact figures, although if you want to audit your financials and get a clear view on exactly where you are at, then you can download my free financial fitness planner, which will help with this process. But back to the general review. Consider these questions. Are you hitting a glass ceiling for your income? Are you spending more than you are perhaps earning, or spending a significant portion of your income each and every month? Do you have debts? And if so, are you worried about how much needs to be repaid? And maybe you're worried about your total debt levels as well. The next question is, do you have savings to cover you for an emergency? And are you saving enough for retirement, or will you retire a pauper? Or somewhere in between? And then once you have gained an understanding of where you are now, you can start to set your money goals. And there are 5 main money goals for entrepreneurs, 4 for the short term, 1 for the longer term. Now the first one is income. Not just an overall income goal here, but break it down into the various areas of your business. So for example, if you were a coach who has coaching services, you have courses and digital products, then you would set income goals for all of these areas of your business. Then the total income goal is just that total of all of these areas, plus any new areas of business that you are exploring for the coming period. Now, as with all goals, you need to be realistic about what you are going to be able to achieve in the upcoming period. So remember that when you're bringing in new products. And now, of course, that new period as well, that may be not just the next year. You may be somebody who plans, like me, in 90-day cycles. Then you just need to be realistic about what you can actually achieve in 90 days. Now, when you are going through the exercise of working out your goals, you may also meet some resistance, which is a great indicator of any money blocks and any negative emotions that you have. And becoming aware of them is the first step to overcoming them. So do make a note of them as you go through the process. The second money goal, and by the way, these aren't in any specific order of importance, but the second goal is profit. Now, yes, there is a link between income and profit, but profit is what, as entrepreneurs, is most important to us. It is what we need to have in order to pay ourselves for the work that we do in the business, so our owner's compensation, and our reward for being a business owner and taking all the risks that involves. Profit goals are often worked out as one goal rather than the amount of profit from each product area, as many of the expenses that we have in our business are not specifically related to the delivery of individual product categories, but as for the business as a whole. But you'll understand your business the best. If you want to do it by category, then do so. Now, by giving yourself a profit goal, you are giving yourself the focus of making sure that you make the most of the income that you bring into the business. When you are focused on maximizing profit, you will become frugal in relation to your expenses and will find ways to keep the level of expenses at a minimum. Now, the third and the fourth money goals, again, these are the shorter term goals, relate to your personal finances, and they are savings and debt reduction. In relation to savings, if you are new to savings, then opening up a savings account and starting an automatic transfer to this account each week or each month will be your first goal. The next level in savings goals is to ensure that you have an emergency fund and that your emergency fund is topped up to the optimum levels. Typically, you will want to aim for around about 6 months worth of expenses to be covered by this fund. But if you do have consumer debt that needs eliminating or significantly reducing, then start with a fund of say £500 to £1,000 and then come back and top up the emergency fund once your credit cards and other consumer debt has been reduced significantly or eliminated completely. Having a savings goal is a great sign, to the universe, but also to your unconscious mind, that you are ready for more money to show up, because you are demonstrating how well you are managing your money. And savings, as with all the other goal categories, can evoke deep emotions and money blocks, which will need to be addressed. But you can start by giving yourself permission to start saving. And if you have resistance to saving, start small and increase the levels of monthly savings over time. Perhaps every 90 days, make an increase. If you have debts, then reducing them is the next money goal to consider. And I'm saying reduction rather than elimination because debt elimination is often a long-term money goal. But when setting goals for like the coming 90-day period or year, depending on, of course, your planning cycle, the focus should be about maximum reduction. It's still part of that decision to live a life that is free of debt, but it's the next milestone rather than the ultimate end goal that you will be giving yourself time to focus on. Then the fifth goal is a long-term goal of financial freedom. I always assume that financial freedom is the ultimate goal, and it is of course dependent on your definition of financial freedom, and we all have different definitions. So to set this money goal, you need to work out what is your definition of financial freedom, or if you don't like that phraseology, that's a separate mindset issue, but maybe you just want to work on the level of wealth that you are aiming to achieve. You know, when you have this wealth, this level of financial freedom, what will your life look like? What will you be doing? Where will you be living? And so on and so on. And get as much detail in there as possible. And when you've built up that picture of financial freedom, you then need to cost out this lifestyle to work out how much money you need to be earning each year to be able to support this life. The money goal in relation to financial freedom doesn't have to fit into the SMART goal analysis. The closer you get to achieving this goal, then the more you'll be able to have it fit in with that SMART model of goal setting. Now, when you have these 5 money goals, you actually have 5 outcome-based or predominantly outcome-based goals. To support you on your journey to achieving these goals, you should consider supporting them with behaviour-based goals. These goals typically are about changes that you make to how you act. Hence, that's why they're called behaviour-based goals. An example of a behaviour-based goal is to spend less time procrastinating. In order to make behaviour-based goals, you will need to reflect on how you feel when you are completing a certain task and that's needed to achieve your main money goals. Focusing on the way that you feel when you aren't performing well at something, then making a concrete effort to change how you behave can help you become more productive and help ensure you reach your goals and you reach them quicker and with more ease. So there is plenty to think about when setting your money goals. It certainly is more than just plucking some figures out of the air that look good and seem motivational on the surface. So if this has helped you understand money goals and what money goals you should be setting, perhaps you haven't actually done so previously, then I'd love for you to let me know.